Hey, today we're going to be talking about the different kinds of email that you can create in Kajabi. There are 4 different kinds of emails: sequence, broadcasts, event related, and transactional. And they all serve a different purpose. They all have different features. So we're going to go through what those different features are, when it's appropriate to use them, and then I'm going to get into Kajabi and show you how to set up each one of them. So first of all, I have this comparison chart that across the top, you'll see sequence, broadcast, event related, and transactional, the 4 different kinds of email. And then we have these different kind of features. When is it sent? Like, is it scheduled by you, or is it triggered by some other action? Analytics. This means whether you can view your open rates and click-through rates or not. Visual editor. This means that you can, it looks a lot like the page builder that you would use to create your website pages or landing pages in Kajabi. Either that is or isn't an option. Automations, if you can set up so that taking an action, either opening the email or clicking on a link in the email, triggers a different action. Who can it go to? Who can these emails go to? And then multiple emails, if it's just like a one-off, or if you can set up a series of emails. So I'm going to go into each one of these. We're going to start with broadcasts, because these are probably the most likely emails that you're going to be sending. And as far as Kajabi is concerned, both your sequence and your broadcast emails are considered marketing emails, which means that they can only go to subscribers, people who have agreed to be on your mailing list, which either you can set it up so that they're automatically opted in, or they can choose to do that. But anyway, sequence and broadcast emails can only go to subscribers, even if it's related to a product that they've already purchased or something. So just keep that in mind. And then your broadcast emails, I'm going to go into Kajabi and show you how to set these up. But these ones are, it's triggered by you. You create the email, you choose who it goes to, and you can either send it right away or schedule it to be sent. They're also the most, you can also do all like the design features, the way that you do within a page. You can add different blocks. And you can view analytics. So you can see your open rates and your click-through rates. So those are kind of the 5 like primary features of a broadcast email. Okay, so within Kajabi, we're going to go to marketing. Here's how we get started with an email campaigns, create email campaign. We're going to choose a broadcast, and it tells you here, send a single email to promote a product, share news, stay connected. Continue. And there are all these different templates. We're just going to go with simple text for the purpose of this demonstration. So you'll see here we have these 3 steps: edit recipients, edit content, and send email. So edit recipients, this is where it tells you who can receive this broadcast. And you can choose segments. These are segments that I've already created, or create a custom segment on the spot. So we're going to select that, and then you have all these filter options. There are a bunch of them, so it's worth spending some time going through those. People often use tags. So one thing to remember, has any of these tags? You can add multiple tags within this one box. So let's say this April 21 tag, you can either apply, or if you have multiple tags that you want to add. So we're going to click apply. And I'm actually going to, because this is just my dummy account, so I don't really use those tags. We're going to go on to edit content. And here is your internal title. That's just for your purposes. The subject, you know what a subject line is. The preview text. So this is available in a broadcast. It's not available on all the other kinds of email. Preview text appears in the recipient's inbox after the subject line. If you leave that blank, then that preview text is just going to be the first couple lines or the first line of your email. If you select Launch Email Editor, so here is where it's going to start looking similar to the page builder. You've got sections and settings. You can add section and add all these different sorts of elements to a broadcast email. So that's what I mean when I say that it's the most flexible in terms of design. One thing, I'm going to pop a couple hyperlinks in the email right now so that you can see what some automations look like. So I just added 2 links within the email. So down here where it says automations, you can add automation, and it gives you a couple different options. Either your email broadcast is open or a link in email broadcast is clicked. So this can be something if you're trying to like segment your audience. Maybe you're like, what's your preferred news source? Because I just typed in CNN and New York Times. Link in email broadcast is clicked, and then you're going to select those links. So I just added CNN. If somebody clicks that, then you have all these different options. And I'm going to say add a tag. You can either select a tag or create one on the spot. We'll just create a CNN tag. Okay. So if for some reason you were segmenting your audience by something like that, then this is where you would set up that automation. One thing to keep in mind, I'm actually going to edit this. You'll see here, I have this add condition option, and you can add these different filter options here. This is only an option on the either the growth or the pro plans. It's not an option on those advanced automations aren't an option on the basic plan. So if that looks different than your account, then that's probably why. So we selected our recipients, we edited content, and now we'll go to send email. Even though it says send email there, this used to scare me. It doesn't mean that you're going to send it right this second. So once you get to the third step, send email, you'll see that you have these 2 options. You can send right now or send at a specific time. So we will schedule it to be sent at 10 a.m., confirm. Okay, so that's basically an overview of a broadcast email. Next, we're going to go through your sequence emails. And it tells you here, send a series of emails that can be triggered by an automation. And as soon as you open it up, it has this editing incomplete warning. It just means that you need to press save. It's just a reminder about that. So we're going to, again, you saw on that previous screen, and this is the biggest difference between a broadcast and a sequence email. A broadcast email, you're choosing when it goes out. A sequence email is triggered by somebody else's action. So it could be completing your lead magnet form or registering for your webinar, something like that. So let's say in this case, we're going to assume that they are filling out your lead magnet form. And so I'm going to change the day to day 0. This means that as soon as they complete that action, the email is going to go out. We'll call it sequence test lead magnet. You also have the option of preview text within the sequence emails. It's not an option on the event or transactional emails. Launch email editor. So this is going to look similar to the broadcast email as well, with that these sections and settings, functions. Okay, so let's say this is all set. So we've set up the first email that goes out in this sequence. Another thing, even though it's called sequence, you don't have to include multiple emails. It can just be one email, but you do have the option of multiple emails. So we're going to go back to the sequence overview. We were just within that first initial email. And here's where you're going to set up your subscribe and unsubscribe triggers. So let's say we are, I'm going to add a trigger so that when they complete a form, that would be like your lead magnet form, they're then subscribed to this email sequence. So when form is submitted, and then you have to select the form. This is, and again, you have those conditions are an option here if you want to do that. You also have some unsubscribe triggers. So this can be if you're sending a series of sales emails, and if somebody actually makes a purchase, you want to remove them from, you don't want them to continue to receive sales emails. So you can say, for example, where's our offer? When offer is purchased, then they are, and then you would select your offer, then they're unsubscribed from the email sequence. So let's say this, when they purchase the course, they're unsubscribed. So they're not going to continue to receive those sales emails, right? Add automation. We do have some automation options within here. Again, the same to either if the email is sent, open, or clicked. You can add any automations, tags, or something if you need to do that. This can be good if you are sending if this is your lead magnet and you have like a nurture sequence that goes out and you don't want people to be sent your regular like sales and marketing emails until the end of the email sequence. So what you would do is add a couple email, it depends on what you want, but we're going to add a couple more emails to this sequence. Okay, so now we have set up a 3 email sequence. And again, it's you don't choose when it goes out. It goes out when somebody submits that form. That first email goes out immediately, and then the other emails go out based on when they submitted that form. So 3 days after they submit that form, and then 7 days after they submit that form. So let's say you want them to go through this entire nurture sequence before they get added to your general marketing emails. You would add an automation so that when it says email sequence email is sent, like this 3rd email is sent, then add a tag, and maybe you're adding them to your like general newsletter, something like that. So that's a brief overview of what a sequence email is. Again, so this is really handy if somebody purchases and you want to send them an onboarding email or a series of onboarding emails, welcome to the course. And then you can, a couple weeks later, like, how's the course going? And if you only have a year access to the course or something, you can send them an email at 11 months. Like, do you want to remain a member, whatever it is, or what are the next steps? You can build out this entire sequence within this sequence thing. And then if you add a subscribe trigger, and then add a subscribe trigger, which would be purchasing the offer. One thing to keep in mind, if you add emails to your sequence after people are already in it, let's say somebody's already in it, they got the first email right away, and then they get the day 3 email, and then maybe they've been in the sequence for 10 days, and then you add a day 8 email, they're not going to get that because they're already past that mark. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also, as you see, I mentioned that sequence emails have analytics. So you'll be able to see over here how many were open, clicked, unsubscribed. Same as if you go into your email broadcasts, you're going to see that analytics information. Okay, so we did broadcast, sequence. Now we're going to do event-related emails. So In order to create an event-related email, you have to create an event, first of all, which is going to be in marketing and then event. And we'll create an event. I'm going to create a webinar. So this is a handy one. And we'll schedule it for the 18th. So I'm going to create some emails around the webinar. So here are you have these when drop-down options. When at time of registration, and I'm going to say you're confirmed. So as soon as somebody registers for your webinar, you're going to send them an email saying you're confirmed. Here's the date and time. Add it to your calendar. Here's the link to the Zoom webinar, something like that. And then let's say you want to add them or send them a reminder email a day in advance. You can say before the event, and then you have all these options. Let's say 24 hours before. It's tomorrow. And then maybe after the webinar, you want to either send them a replay, which you would have to be careful with that because you need to make sure that your replay page is actually up and ready to go. But maybe you want to send them a sales email 2 days after the event. And then you send them a link to your sales page. Because, most likely the reason that you ran a webinar is because you're trying to get them to purchase something from you. So here's the event actions, the emails, and you'll see this little email icon here, or envelope icon, and then the event takes place here. So you've got that, and then another email afterwards. So you can see the whole series of events. So you'll notice that you don't have all the design options. You don't have that visual editor option that you have in the sequence or the broadcast. You have some formatting. You can put in a link or an image or something. You just don't have all those section options that you have available in those marketing emails. So that's one thing. Another thing is that you can't view analytics. You can't see how many people opened or how many people clicked through. So in the case of something like this, like a webinar, if you have a low webinar attendance rates, it's kind of hard to get a gauge on like how people are interacting with your emails. So that being said, though, it is handy to have all those event-related emails kind of nested in one place, like all connected to that event. It's not cluttering up your email campaigns page. And you know that these are going out. You don't have to like do the math and figure out like, oh, I have to send a broadcast email 24 hours before webinar 1 and then another one 24 hours before webinar 2. It's just all going to be connected to that. Like Kajabi will do the math and send it relative to this static date and time of the event that you created. This also means that you can, if you're running 3 webinars, for example, I just have one here, but you can clone this. So if you have 3 webinars, you can clone this event. It'll clone all those emails, and then those will go out based on the time and date of webinar 2 and of webinar 3. So, and you would have to make sure to update your Zoom link or whatever your link is in the email. But that's another really good feature of those event emails. So now our 4th kind of email is transactional. So this one, I think of this as like receipt emails. This is coming from within Kajabi. So if you go to settings, and then email templates, and it says control the content of the auto-generated system emails. So people, in order to receive these, they don't have to be subscribed to your list. They don't have to be registered to an event. If they take an action within Kajabi, they're automatically going to get, and it triggers one of these emails, they're going to get it regardless of their like status as a subscriber or as a member. So here are the different ones that you might send. An announcement notification. So if you have a product, if you have a course or something, and you, let's say, drip content every Monday and you want to create an announcement, within your course, you can check a box that says send an email notification to members. And then this is the email that they're going to get. So we're going to open it up. So you'll notice once we open this up, it's super basic. It's just text. And I wouldn't mess with this at all. There's some liquid objects available, but when we get into kind of this code stuff, like I wouldn't mess with it at all. Because it's a system generated email, it's kind of like a receipt. Like if somebody purchases a product, an offer from you, they're going to get that automatically generated receipt from Kajabi just saying, yes, you have access to this product and we charged your card. So that would be, let's see, offer purchase confirmation when they purchase a new product from you. And likely if they're purchasing a product from you, you're going to set it up so that they're getting a sequence email. And that's the one that's like, welcome to the course and join the Facebook group. And here are the next steps that you should take. So don't try to combine those into one. This is just the system generated, automatic receipt kind of email. And then they're going to get a sequence email that tells them some more information about what they should do. So I would go through all these. Some of these, member payment subscription failed. If you want to check that out and explain to them, what the process is, or if they cancel, member welcome email. Anyway, you can go through all of these, but I wouldn't mess with them too much because once you get into coding and like liquid objects and stuff, I get a little bit nervous about all that. So those are the 4 different kinds of emails that you might send from within Kajabi. They all have a place. They all have benefits and limitations. So you can refer to that comparison chart when you're trying to figure out what the features are of these different emails and where they all fit into your whole marketing scheme. Okay, thanks.